A Hero's Journey. There used to be a black boy who lived in London. He had curly black hair and big eyes. He was often the only one in his group that was black, and people teased him at school and made fun of him. He was isolated and alone. He had no friends because of his race. He liked to dress up in traditional, colourful African clothes, and he was nevertheless proud of being black. However, the bullies at his school would hit him, steal his money, and call him all sorts of names. The boy wanted to quit school. He told his parents that he didn't want to go to school anymore. He needed acceptance. He wanted to be part of a tribe and have a group of friends. But his parents could not offer him much support, and they were very strict. They would not allow him to quit school. He had to go. They didn't go to university and wanted their son to graduate with a degree and live a comfortable life. They didn't want him to be cleaning or getting into low paid, miserable jobs. They wanted him to be financially free. So the boy continued to go to school. The teachers were often supportive of him and encouraged the student to be academically bright. But he was unhappy. He had to do something about the white bully. The white bully came from an abusive house himself. His dad was an alcoholic and abused him, and he in turn bullied Sam to release frustration. One day, Malfoy, the white bully, brought some metallic knuckles to beat Sam up and show him who ruled the school. Upon being caught in the playground, Sam was ganged up by the hooligans of the school. He was beaten until he was bleeding and left with a concussion. When the teachers found him, they immediately called an ambulance. Thankfully, Sam did not survive any serious injuries. Malfoy got suspended from school for his violence, and Sam was ordered to recover at home. Sam was humiliated that day in front of the whole school for being a wimp. He had to bow down his head in shame, but he had had enough of Malfoy. While he was resting at home, he found an advert on Instagram for self-defense classes in the area. He immediately leapt to his feet and the next day went down to the gym. There he met an old man who resembled a British bulldog. He had muscular shoulders and a bent spine, but he was encouraging and acted as a father figure to young Sam. Sam immediately became his disciple. He told Tony about his school, and Tony, a former kid that also used to be picked on at school, could see himself in the young boy. The young boy and him connected, and Tony told Sam that it was the reason of bullying why Tony first got into the fighting business. Tony said that he had trained many champion fighters and taught them the art of boxing. When Sam saw the pictures and trophies of Tony's students, he almost started seeing Tony as a godlike figure who could save him from his weak and miserable existence. Soon, school was about to start and Sam had to return, but thank God Malfoy was still suspended. Sam felt free at school now, but he knew his arch nemesis was going to return, and return he would with a vengeance. He could severely injure Sam again. This time Sam felt like manning up. He was 14 years old, but with teenage hormones raging through his body, he decided to visit the martial arts gym after the school. The place was old and dusty, and chalk dust everywhere. Some dilapidated punch bags, bodyguards, and some enthusiastic members all reveling in fighting and training with each other. He soon found acceptance. The older members welcomed him with open arms and started to guide him. For once, Sam felt like he belonged. After school every day, he would rush home and then get changed and sprint to the gym. At first, he was getting beat up with his sparring partners. He didn't have the courage or the stamina. But with every punch and the guiding shadow of Tony, eventually Sam grew in confidence. He started to feel pride. He would walk with an upright back and shoulders and swagger for once. He learned how to jab and elbow. He learned footwork. He was driven. He wanted to grow into a man. He developed musculature and he grew into his tiny frame. People suddenly started to notice Sam. Girls started to laugh at his jokes. They were seeing a new man, not a weakling. After months of preparing for the day, Malfoy returned to school, and on the first day spit at Sam. By now, Sam had suddenly become popular, and the student body was by his side. He grabbed Malfoy by his blonde hair and smashed his face on a wooden desk. Malfoy had blood coming out of his nose. Malfoy grinned. He loved fights, and he could easily take down Sam. Malfoy threw a punch. Sam immediately blocked it. The whole class watched in utter disbelief, and the boys egged each other on to have a brawl. Sam got up out of his seat and threw a devastating blow to Malfoy in the stomach. Malfoy cowered in pain, but he was a tough cookie. He brought out a pen and tried to stab Sam. Malfoy was a dirty and vicious fighter. Nevertheless, Sam dodged it, and Malfoy went flying and screamed, "Ah, you dirty scum!" Sam went into a fight or flight mode, jolted by an adrenaline rush. He felt alive. He was face to face with danger, but this time he chose to fight. They both scrambled, but Sam had the technical gift and easily pinned down Malfoy. Malfoy was embarrassed how an outcast could beat him. He was the hooligan of the school. Nevertheless, Sam wasn't done, and he started to embarrass Malfoy further. Malfoy was done for. There was a new reigning champion of the school. Sam felt pride and towered over Malfoy. With the whole school cheering for him, Sam was finally accepted.